Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about one interview question. How can we delete the duplicated records? So topic name is deleting duplicated records from table. How to delete the duplicated records from the table? So to understand this query, we should have knowledge on what is row ID and what is the execution process. So execution process of correlated subquery. So we should have knowledge on row ID and execution process of correlated subquery to understand this query. What is this row ID? So every row has a physical address. Every row has some address. So to get that address, we use this row ID. Actually, this row ID is called a pseudo column. It is a pseudo column. Pseudo means false. Pseudo means false. It looks like column of the table, but it is not original column of the table. That's why we are calling this as a pseudo column. It looks like column of the table, but it is not original column of the table. Why we are using it? It is used to get physical address of the row. Used to get physical address of the row. If you want to get address of the row, we use it. For example, I want to get all row IDs of EMP table records. Display all row IDs of EMP table records. EMP table, every record row ID I want to get. What we write here? Select row ID. Column list like employee number, employee name, salary from EMP. This employee number, e-name, salary, these are columns of EMP table. But is row ID column of EMP table? No. But it displays like column of that EMP table. That's why we are calling this as the pseudo column. Okay, pseudo column. Observe here. I'm clearing this. I'm opening SQL plus here. Observe. So this is SQL plus. In SQL plus, I'm typing that command. So row ID, employee number, e-name, salary, we are displaying in the EMP table. So these are the row IDs. Observe here. From here to here, almost all characters are same. This last character is different. Here A, here B, here C, D, like this. So this is first row's row ID is this one. Second row's row ID is this one. Third row's row ID is this one. Like this. We are getting every row's address. So to get the row address, we are using the pseudo column row ID. It is looking like column of this EMP table only, but it is not actual column of the EMP table. That's why we are calling this as the pseudo column. So this is about row ID. Next, we need to understand about execution process of the correlated subquery. So observe here. This is the execution process of correlated subquery. Observe. First, in correlated subquery, first outer query will be executed. First outer query will be executed here. First this outer query will be executed. First step. Outer query selects one row. This outer query passes value to the inner query. Second step. Now inner query will be executed. Third step. Inner query passes result to the outer query. Fourth step. Now outer query condition will be tested. Fifth step. If this condition is true, select that row. If condition is false, it will not select that row. That's it. First outer query will be executed. It selects the row. It passes value to the inner query. Now inner query will be executed. Inner query passes value to the outer query. Now outer query condition will be tested. If condition is true, selects the row. If false, it will not select the row. Like this, for every row selected by outer query, inner query will be executed. So these 5 steps will be executed repeatedly for every row selected by outer query. This is the execution process. So we should have knowledge on these two. Okay, now we are writing how to delete the duplicate rows we are discussing now. I'm creating a table with the name T1. In this F1 and F2, 2 columns are there. So here 1, 2, 3, 1A, 2B, 3C. Again, I am inserting duplicate records. 4D, only one time this record is there. 1A, one more time. So this table is having duplicate records. We want to delete them. This is our requirement. So this 1A, 2B, 3C, these 3 rows are duplicated here. And this 1A is also duplicate record. These duplicate records we want to delete. This is our requirement. So every row has row ID. So first create this table. So to create this table, here queries are there. I'm creating the table T1 with F1 number type, F2 varchar 2 type. Just I'm copying this at SQL prompt. Observe. So table is created. T1 table is created. So these records only I'm inserting. These records only I'm inserting. 8 records. 8 records I'm inserting here. So these are the insert queries. 8 insert queries are there. I'm copying. 1A, 2B, 3C. One more time 1A, 2B, 3C. Duplicating. Okay. 4D. And last record 1A, one more time. We're inserting. Total 8 insert commands I'm copying. It is SQL form. To save this data, commit. Open and see the table data here. Select star from T1. Observe now. This is T1 table data. Our requirement is we want to delete these duplicate records. So for this, we write like select, observe here, F1 comma F2 comma row ID. F1 comma F2 comma row ID from table name is T1. So these are the row IDs. These are the row IDs. Observe here. So for this 1A, this is a row ID. And for this 1A, this is a row ID. For this 1A, this is a row ID. So what we have to do is, okay, so here we have to write correlated subquery. Correlated subquery selects a row and it has to pass this all column values to the inner query. It has to pass all column values to the inner query. Because there we want to select this all duplicate rows. So in those duplicate rows, find the minimum row ID. According to this example, observe here. Here this is 1A, one record. This is 1A, another record. This is 1A, another record. Okay, outer query has to select this first row. So outer query is passing this F1 value, F1, F2 value to the inner query. So their duplicate rows will be selected here. So these are the duplicate rows. In this, we have to find minimum row ID. What we have to find now? Minimum row ID. Minimum row ID we have to find. So minimum row ID. Okay. So in the comparison, you already know that A to Z order is ascending order. A, B, C, D. This order is Ascending order. Ascending order means what? Small to big. So A is less than B, B is less than C, okay, C is less than D, like this, okay, up to the Z. Among these all alphabet, Z is the greatest one, A is the smallest one. Ascending order, small to big. Okay, now we have to find minimum row ID in all these duplicate rows. So in 1A, 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 minimum row ID is last 3 characters I'm taking here. So this row ID is AAA, this row ID is AAD, this row ID is AAH. What is the minimum row ID here? Okay, AAH, AAA is the minimum row ID. This is the minimum row ID. Okay, what we have to do is, if this row ID is not equals to minimum row ID, then delete it. For this first row, okay, for this first row, AAA not equals to AAA. Okay, so minimum row ID is what? AAA. Minimum row ID we are finding. So if this employee, this this record row ID, this row ID is not equals to minimum row ID, then delete it. So is AAA not equals to AAA? Condition false. So don't delete it. Okay, for this row, okay, this row ID is AAD. AAD. What is the minimum row ID here? AAA. Is AAD not equals to AAA? Yes, condition is true. Delete it. And for this row, AAH. Okay, in duplicate rows, what is the minimum row ID? AAA. Is AAH not equals to AAA? Yes, condition true. Duplicate it. So if row ID is not equals to minimum row ID, duplicate it. Delete it. In the duplicated rows, if row ID is not equals to minimum row ID, delete it. That's it. This is the concept. So finally, we are writing the query like this. To delete the duplicate rows, we write like this. Okay, delete from which table we want to delete? T1 table. So delete from T1 table. Okay, where row ID, not equals to, here find the minimum row ID here. So select minimum row ID from which table? T1 table, where F1 equals to, okay, for this outer query, I'm giving alias name as T here. For T1 table, I am giving alias name as T. So F1 equals to T dot F1 and F2 equals to T dot F2. So here we are selecting the duplicated records. Here we are selecting the duplicated records. So in those duplicated records, we are finding the minimum row ID. So this is the final query to delete the duplicated records. This is the query here. Okay. So according to this example, see, according to this example, now, for example, row IDs I'm taking for easy understanding purpose. I'm taking row IDs here. This row ID is last 3 characters I'm taking: AAA, AAB, AAC, AAD, AAE, AAF, AAG, AH. Now for comparison, I'm taking one more column here. Okay, so here comparison description I'm writing. Observe carefully. So first row will be selected. Outer query selects first row. Outer query selects this first row. Now outer query passes value to the inner query. Outer query passes value to the inner query now. So this outer query is passing value to the inner query here. So T dot F1 value 1, T dot F2 value A. So 1A rows will be selected here. Okay, so this is 1A and this is also 1A. This is also 1A. 1A rows will be selected. In all those, minimum row ID will be selected now. What is the minimum row ID here? AAA is the minimum row ID. Okay, so now inner query returns AAA. This is the minimum row ID. In AAA, AAD, and AAH, all these are having F1 value, F2 values are same. 1A, 1A, 1A. So duplicate rows will be selected. In those rows, minimum row ID it finds. What is the minimum row ID now? AAA is the minimum row ID. Okay, so this is the minimum row ID we are getting after executing this inner query. That value will be given to the outer query. Outer query selects this rows row ID. So this rows row ID is AAA. AAA not equals to AAA. Is this condition true? False. False means what? Row will not be deleted. If condition true, it deletes the row. If condition false, it will not delete the row. Okay. Now, next. So for first row, execution is over. First outer query executed, outer query is selecting first row. So this outer query is passing value to the inner query here. So all duplicated rows are selected here, like 1A, 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 all rows are selected. Now these are the duplicate rows. In that minimum row ID it is finding, minimum row ID is AAA, this is the minimum row ID. That value will be given to the outer query. So outer query condition it is checking. So this minimum row ID value is AAA. Actual row ID, this for this row ID value is AAA. AAA not equals to AAA, condition false. It is not deleting the row. Next, outer query selects second row. Outer query is selecting second row here. Okay, outer query passes values to the inner query. Now inner query selects these duplicated rows 2B, 2B. F1, F1 value same, F2, F2 value same. Duplicated rows will be selected. It finds minimum row ID. In the AAB, AAE, minimum row ID is AAB. Okay, so AAB not equals to AAB not equals to minimum row ID is AAB. This row ID is AAB. Minimum row ID is also AAB. AAB not equals to AAB. Condition false. Row will not be deleted. Row will not be deleted. Next, for third row. So like this for every row it executes. For third row. So for third row selected by outer query. Outer query passes value to the inner query. Outer query passes value to the inner query. So now, okay, if F1 equals to T dot F1, F2 equals to T dot F2 means duplicate rows will be selected. Okay, so 3 C3, C. These are the duplicate rows. So duplicate rows are selected here. Okay. So in this, it finds the minimum row ID. In AAC and AAF, minimum row ID is what? AAC. So this is row ID is AAC. This row ID will be compared with minimum row ID AAC. AAC not equals to AAC, condition false. So row will not be deleted now. Row will not be deleted. Okay. Now, next, for next row. Next, outer query is selecting fourth row. So outer query passes values to the inner query. So inner query is selecting these duplicate rows. Sorry. Duplicate rows. 1A, 1A, 1A. It is finding minimum row ID. Minimum row ID is AAA. So this row ID is AAD. So AAD not equals to AAA. Is this condition true? Yes, true. Means it is duplicated record. So row will be deleted. Row will be deleted here. This row will be deleted now. So duplicate record is deleted. So this will be deleted. So this row will be deleted. Okay. Next. Next row. Next row will be selected. So outer query passes value to the inner query. So inner query selects duplicate rows. So this is one row. This is another row. These are the duplicate rows. So in this, it finds minimum row ID. Minimum row ID is AAB. Okay. So AAE not equals to AAB. Is this condition true? Yes. A is not equal to AAB. Yes, condition is true. Condition true means this row will be deleted. So row will be deleted. Okay, so this is duplicate row. So now this duplicate row will be deleted now. Next, for this row, outer query selects this row. Outer query passes value to the inner query. So now inner query selects duplicated rows. 3C, 3C rows will be selected. So this is 3C row. These 3C rows will be selected. Minimum row ID it finds. Minimum row ID is AAC. So this row ID is AAF. Minimum row ID is AAC. So AAF not equals to AAC. Yes, condition is true. Row will be deleted. This row will be deleted. Okay. So now this 3CAAF record will be deleted. This is duplicate row. Next. Outer query selects this another row. Another row. It is passing 4D values to the inner row. So no duplicate rows are there. It finds minimum row ID here. What is the minimum row ID here? This is the minimum row ID. AAG. So with 4D only one record is there. That row is selected. Minimum row ID it is finding. AAG is the minimum row ID. So this row ID is AAG. Minimum row ID is also AAG. AAG not equals to AAG. Condition false. So this row will not be deleted. Next. Next row. Last row. Outer query select this row. Outer query passes these values to the inner query. 1A values are passed. So all 1A rows will be selected. Okay. It finds the minimum row ID. What is the minimum row ID here? AAA. So this row ID is AAH. Minimum row ID is AAA. AAH is not equals to AAA. Yes, condition is true. So this row will be deleted. This row will be deleted. So like this, it executes. So this is the query for deleting duplicate records. Is it working or not? Just observe. I'm copying this. Open and see the table data first. I'm clearing the screen. What table name is? T1. So select star from T1. Observe here. So duplicate rows are there. 1, 2, 3 duplicated. 1A duplicated. 4 rows are duplicated. These 4 duplicate rows we want to delete here. So just we are writing this query. Delete from T1 table where row ID not equals to minimum row ID in the duplicate records. If row ID is not equals to minimum row ID, delete it. Copying that query. Observe here. 4 rows are deleted. Duplicate rows are deleted. Open and see the table data. Select star from T1. So 1A was duplicated. The duplicate row deleted. 2B duplicate record deleted. 3C duplicate rows are deleted. If you want to check row IDs also you can check. Okay, so select T1 dot star row ID, comma T1 dot star. See here. AAA, AAB, AAC are there. So below rows are deleted. AAD deleted, AAE deleted, AAF deleted. Duplicate rows are deleted. So this is the final query. This is the final query for deleting the duplicate records. So if you want to delete the duplicate records, this is the query we need to write. So this is the way of deleting the duplicate rows by using the correlated subquery.